serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey, folks, and welcome to episode 108 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of April 15th through the 21st, 2019. My name's Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the lab at Industry Hill, a repurposed building on North Chestnut Street in the old warehouse district of downtown Winston-Salem. Industry Hill itself boasts a lot of cool things in addition to us.
Yes, mostly us.
Yes. Restaurants, chocolatiers, breweries, entertainment complexes, high-end stereo shops, bouldering facilities, and of course us.
Yeah.
Find out more by visiting industryhill.com.
I just keep thinking we should have like sound effects of a lab boiling in the background. Exactly. Ow!
You know those things that the electricity goes through, those Tesla coils or whatever they are called?
Yeah.
Well, undeniably, the big news this past week had to be the destructive fire at Mr. Barbecue.
Yeah, that was sad just to see the pictures.
Oh, we were getting ready to record the Less Desirables, and Danielle looked at her phone and says, "Oh no, Mr. Barbecue's on fire!" And I couldn't pay attention the rest of the show.
Yeah,
because I was like, "Oh no,
what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, how's it doing? What's going on? Did they stop it? Did they get it out? What is the place destroyed? What's going on?"
I was concerned myself that we were going to lose an iconic restaurant here in town.
Oh, it certainly is. Yeah, an ember from the fire pit. One of them flew in the area. One of the few that still have an actual fire pit.
Yeah,
because most places have to not. They have to do it with electric things or whatever. This is an actual wood, hickory smoked fire pit. And I don't think that they lose that because I think they're still grandfathered unless they have to rebuild the building. And it looks like they're doing okay with that. It set the place ablaze at about 6 whatever. It was out in 20 minutes, but there was extensive damage. The fire chief said it was around $215,000 in damage, but the insurance estimates are saying it's probably closer to $500,000.
Wow. Well, you think about all the water that hits the building. It's not just the fire; it's all the water and the smoke. Yeah, you think about all the paneling that was in there. All that'll have to come out.
Yeah.
Floors probably got ruined. But the structure itself appears to be intact.
Yeah, and that building was built in 1963.
It's older than me.
Yeah. And that's saying something.
That's saying a lot.
Well, the Karros family started it in this building. Actually, they started in 1962 and then opened in 1963. It has been a landmark staple in this town for many, many years. I eat there around once a week. In fact, last Monday, I ate there twice. Once for lunch before coming here, and then after we recorded the Beer Dads, I had to have something, and I'm just not a fan of the Subway to stop and do that. So I'm like, well, there it is. Let me stop.
It's a good thing you got a double fix right before this happened.
Right. And I know, I don't know them, but I saw people say, I just ate there at 4:30 today.
Yeah.
The day that it went up.
Yeah. I'm so glad to know that they're going to be able to rebuild. Nobody got hurt.
Yep.
And hats off to the Winston-Salem Fire Department for being there within 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
That's an impressive response time. Now, granted, they're just up the street.
Yeah, engine number 6.
They were there, and they saved that building. Well done.
Well, I claim their jumbo cheeseburger is one of my top 5 burgers.
I know you keep saying that.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
The Karros family has vowed to reopen as soon as possible. In fact, Thursday evening, whenever I went by, there was a work crew on the roof patching the holes, and there was a construction security fence around the building.
They haven't been wasting time. They didn't go to sleep.
And they even said on their Facebook post that they will reopen as soon as possible. I am wishing them a speedy reopening.
Yes, speedy recovery.
Yes, and I
think
can't wait to go in there. And I've actually gotten to know a couple of the people who worked there.
Yeah,
and the first thing I thought was, are they okay? And then no one was hurt, no one was injured. Just a building. Yeah. So that was good.
In the grand scheme of things, it could have been so much worse.
No, it could have. It could have lost lives or injuries, permanent injuries,
Or even if the building had been more damaged, if it had really truly been burned down, they would not be able to rebuild it the way that it was.
right.
They could try, but it wouldn't. There's so many things I'm sure that are grandfathered in from having been around for so long. I've seen multiple restaurants that they'd been there for decades. They were that quirky kind of place. They burned and then had to meet code to rebuild.
Yeah.
And you lost all of the character of what was there prior.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see we're not going to lose that for them.
Yeah. I think we're okay in that. At least I think we are. So
We'll have to stay in tune, see what's going on with that.
indeed, I was able on that Wednesday to get a sneak preview of the Sir Winston Wine Loft,
Yes.
and it's a beauty.
Tell me more.
This is going to be a star in this town. Joseph Carell, the food and beverage director, gave me a tour of the dining area, the wine loft area, even a glance into a couple of the Hotel Indigo rooms.
So this is going to be inside Hotel Indigo.
Yes.
So it's right there across from, it's right there at 3rd Street, right? I'm just
4th Street.
4th Street.
Yeah, well, yes, 3rd Street, but there's other things happening at 3rd Street. So it's at 104 West 4th Street, which is directly across the street from Mooney's on the north side,
Right.
and directly across from 50 West 4th, which is the old courthouse on the east side.
Where the statue got taken down.
Yeah.
Moved.
Yeah, moved, yes. Chef David Swing gave me a tour of the kitchen, and man, it's a nice kitchen. And I agree with him. It does smell too new. We need to get the essence of bacon in there,
Lots of bacon.
yeah.
Bacon.
The dining area is spacious and sleek and adorned with light fixtures that were found in the basement of the Pepper Building. They were
cool.
they were not destroyed. They were just down there. They were able to clean them up and put them up.
Oh, I
And
love that.
Yeah. The banquettes that are in there, along with the chairs that are in the hotel rooms, were made right here beside us.
We've been watching them over the last
Yeah.
few months up those.
Yeah, and up until just a few weeks ago, the banquettes sat in the room right here directly beside us.
It's a kind of a modern retro feel.
It is. And they're trying, what Joseph told me is they definitely want this to be a Winston-Salem restaurant.
Yeah.
There are other hotel restaurants that have come that I am a fan of, but he's right. There's charm, but it's not Winston-Salem charm. And this was, the bar was built by David Dalholt, who was Sunnyside Millwork, also in this building.
Yep.
The millwork's in another spot, but the actual office is
offices are
here.
here,
It was handcrafted, and that's going to be cool.
Well, they've done some really beautiful work in other places here in town.
Oh yeah, the
one
trophy room.
The one at Incendiary in particular is one that's coming to mind.
You should see the one at the trophy room because it's got like gold leaves and stuff on it.
Oh.
And yeah,
They do beautiful work.
they certainly do.
And it's
David's
just
really
gorgeous. They clearly love wood.
good. Yeah, they fantastic work.
I'm loving that we're seeing that the lights were still in the building. It's furniture and bar, everything that's being built right here in town. Yeah, I love that they're being that kind of hyper local.
Well, I was happy to see. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was happy to see my buddy, the former co-host with me of Sipping and See the Art of Drinking, Jordan Kuiper, is the food and
Nice.
beverage manager.
cool.
Joseph is the director. He's the manager. The restaurant and hotel are slated for opening April 25th, I believe. They are going to have to bust ass to make that. Again, they're in the Pepper Building, 104 West 4th Street. Joseph did tell me that they are going to focus on Winston-Salem as much as possible. It's farmers when possible, and he did make sure to tell me that they aren't farm to table, but will use as much locally grown and raised resources as possible. They want to focus on the town's history and be a destination that feels like home. While it is a hotel restaurant, they hope to be a neighborhood restaurant first and foremost.
Well, that's a couple that we've talked to here in the last couple of weeks that are taking that same approach.
Absolutely. Also on Wednesday, I tried out the new Cugino Forno Pizzeria.
I've not been there yet. Tell
Now,
me.
the pie is very good, and it's really huge for a single pizza. I took a picture of mine, and the thing is like this big, and it's just a 16-inch supposedly, but this thing was like almost 2 feet long and,
Wow.
and oblong, but it was huge. It's not Mission. And like I said last week or the week before, I can't remember, there is room for both Mission and Cugino Forno.
Right. Right.
The-
Absolutely.
The ingredients were fresh and the pies were delicious, but they're not as adventurous as Mission is.
Okay.
You know, Mission has some out there stuff on their thing.
This is more traditional in its approach to
yeah.
toppings.
Yeah, it's traditional, and you can add some stuff, and it's plain wording. I mean, here it is. This is what it is. Where Mission, they have a lot of
Italian.
they have a lot of fancy meats and cheeses. I think it's a little more upscale, even
Right.
though the interior is not necessarily more upscale. It's
No, the
just,
interior's not.
but that's what Peyton wanted. And hey, it's got Peyton, and Peyton is a bit wiry at times, but when you get to know him, he's a super awesome dude. I love him to death, but he's a character, and once you understand his dry wit, you'll appreciate him a whole lot more. I'm trying to think. I have.
That's dangerous. Tim's thinking.
Yeah, I know.
You should stop that immediately before you hurt
I'm
somebody.
gonna tell you what it was that I had. I had the Livorno.
Livorno and
Which is-
Shirley.
Livorno and Cholet. It's Italian sausage, San Marzano tomatoes, buffalo mozzarella, basil, and garlic.
Ooh,
But
that
I
sounds
also
good.
but I also added pepperoni to it.
Oh, okay.
So I
well,
got that on there.
Pepperoni is
Yeah.
add that to anything
Yep.
except chocolate. Don't mix that up.
So if you look at Mission's website, or you go to Mission and look at those, it's going to be like all these strange named meats and things, which I think's fine. I think it's great. But they have at Cugino Forno, they have it says artichokes, mushrooms, sausage, pepper, spicy pepper, caramelized onion, roasted ham, cherry tomato, sweet pepper. And that's the
Nice
things you
bake
c-
English.
Yeah, that's the condiments that goes on top of the condimenti, if you will, that go on the pizza. So they're not as extravagant in their pizza toppings as, and these things aren't just fancy names at Mission. They are truly different kinds of meats and cheeses that are true Italian meats and cheeses. Not saying that these are not, so I hope people don't hear that. This was good, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I didn't eat the crusts, but I brought them to Danielle's dog, who loved every bit of it. So,
You're not a crust guy.
well, I mean, I couldn't have eaten the crust and the pizza. It
Just
was
too much.
It was way too much. I had to force myself for those last two slices. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
So this is really more. You could share that pizza with two,
yeah, and
especially
that's
if
another
you're
thing.
next door to Incendiary and getting a couple of beers to go with
And
it.
that's the beauty there too. You can order your pizza, go sit at Incendiary, and they'll deliver the pizza over there. Or you can go to Incendiary, get a beer, and go over to Cugino Forno
And have the pizza.
and have the pizza. So there is that cool aspect going on.
Mission doesn't have that.
No,
Now it's not that
not
far.
yet.
though.
But coming soon, right next door is Hoot's Satellite. So
Yeah.
you never know what they might work out for that.
They might cut a window in a wall somewhere.
They may.
I know
No,
that's
they'd have to actually, because I know that there's actually 2 walls through there. It's 2 different buildings, but they touch. Because when I was in the Test Pattern Studios,
right.
there was actually a window in the bathroom, but it was covered. I mean,
'Cause
the
it's-
outside of it.
It butts up against
Yeah.
the next door,
Yeah,
the next
absolutely.
window, not window, next building.
Yep.
Cool.
And 2, the thing with this as opposed to pizza, as Mission Pizza, is this could have fed 2 people. Mission pizzas are, the pies are a little
More for one.
more for one, really. I mean, because if Stephanie and I ordered one and split it, I'm just going to be mad. That's just enough to piss me off. So, yeah, it's
But Cugino Forno, it's enough that you're like, oh man.
yeah, I
I'm gonna
did.
have a hard time."
Like I said, I forced myself on those last two pieces, and that's still a good thing because you get plenty, and the prices were decent, so it's not bad at all.
We'll have to check that out.
All right, so I need to tell you about a weird incident that happened Friday night into Saturday.
You would have a weird incident.
As many of you know, I am a huge record collector, and I was camping out in front of my favorite record store, Underdog Records.
Go Underdog.
A few other weird things happened that night that I won't go into. All of them were good. It was just funny, or mostly good. But a car stopped in front of us, and a gentleman by the name of Steve got out of his car wearing an orange t-shirt and asked us if he could give us some business cards.
Okay, y'all are standing out front waiting for them to open on Saturday morning so you can get some deals that are just not available unless you're there at that exact moment.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So,
And
random dudes giving you business cards.
yeah. So he said, hey, can I give you business cards? And I said, sure. And he said that he was promoting his food service, which is Shrimp and Grits Station. I told him who I was, and he says, hold on, I have a sample for you. He also said that it wasn't supposed to be a free sample. I think he was going to try to get us to buy some of that, which is okay. But he says now it's a free sample, and we only got one, but we shared it between the four of us there. And it had smoked sausage, seasoned shrimp, red peppers, and the absolute creamiest grits I've ever had. I don't know if there was cheese in it, but it tasted like it could have been. Ray, I'm telling you, this was the bomb. And I don't use that term often
Or lightly.
or lightly. I'll go with it was the bomb diggity.
Ooh,
Shrimp
all
and
the way up
Grits-
to Bomb Dickety.
Shrimp and Grits Station is located at 4534 North Cherry Street. I do urge our listeners to like them on Facebook, visit them. Their hours are a little bit different, so check with them before you go. Eat and enjoy their wares. They do catering, and they need 3 days' notice, and they have the restaurant open on the weekends.
Now, I'm trying to picture where that is on Cherry Street.
Well, I'll look it up. We'll figure
You
this
look it
out.
up, and then we'll be able to share that with people. Yeah, I think I had seen something from them online here in the last week or so. But just how random is it that he would drive by where y'all are sitting at Underdog and just happen to find the man who ate the town?
Yeah. Yeah. Just so happened to be there. When I posted stuff,
Synchronicity.
yes, when I posted things for this, it was, it was under my Tim Beeman II thing. So this is on around the corner of Cherry and Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So it is.
Just a couple miles from
It's
us.
right up in the same shopping center that Boyd's Tire Center is in,
Okay.
if you know where that's at. It's close to the FedEx center there.
It's where you got to go pick up your packages after hours.
Yes.
I've had to do that.
Yes. So there's Lee's Grocery across the way. They mentioned that because I watched the video, but I forgot to tell you that part. They actually Facebook Lived me trying it and talking about it. And they are going to come on the show eventually. I talked to him online, and he
Great.
friended me on Facebook. Steve Randall did.
So he needs to bring
Steven.
additional samples
Oh, of course. And we'll work that out.
in large quantities.
Yeah.
And
I'm-
by large, I mean like, gallon size
Yeah,
quantities.
yeah, bring a couple of gallons worth. But I'm telling you, this was delicious. He had gone, and yes, we talked about the humor of him actually stopping, first of all, but we also went on about how good the four of us who tried it talked the rest of the night about a lot of things, but that kept coming back up. So Stephen if you're listening, we absolutely loved your stuff, and we want you to come on this show and yes, bring us samples, but also talk about the business. Let's see if we can get you some help in the advertising aspect here.
Well, clearly he's hustling to get business. If he's stopping, I mean, Underdog is not on the most heavily driven street in Winston-Salem,
Especially at 11:30 at night.
How random. But that's awesome. He's clearly hustling for some new business, and he stopped and had the best stop he could have had.
Yeah, I think so. We all talked about it, so it wasn't just me. All of us on Facebook Live, and it's on his Facebook page. So if you get a chance to do it, go check it out.
I'll have to check that out.
We don't have a guest this week. I know that's odd. We've gotten used to it, but we will for the next 2 weeks.
We've got folks for then, and I think we'll have some for after that as well.
Yeah, I'm working and you're working. We're working. We're going to have somebody.
We got people that we want you to know.
Absolutely. But sorry, I'm not yawning because I'm tired. I'm trying to catch my breath.
Yeah, it's because I'm that boring.
No, not at all. Not at all. Hiya, bird, if you're Snuffleupagus. Hi, bird. All right, so food holidays. Today is the 15th of April, and that's tax day.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tax day sucks.
Yes, it does.
Well, at least when you have to pay, they suck.
Yeah.
It's okay when you get money back.
Yeah, well, this is not the year where most of us are getting back.
Yeah. If you are getting something back, we got state back, but we had to pay federal. If you are getting something back, then you're lying. no, I'm kidding. It's good for you.
Yes, good for you.
Don't know.
If you want to share, that's RAYMOR.
Yes. And there's 2 E's and an A in Beeman, just so you know.
B-Man.
That's right. Compound word, B-Man. On the 15th is also National Glazed Ham Day.
Really? We need a day for glazed ham.
Oh, wait. It gets better later down the thing. There's one I actually giggled out loud whenever I was writing it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I'll wait for that patiently.
Yeah.
Glazed ham. I mean, I like glazed ham, and I'd prefer that over country ham.
Yeah, it tastes like somebody peed on it. I always thought that because it's so salty, it just tasted like somebody peed on it.
Country ham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like glazed ham.
I like glazed ham, yeah.
Yeah.
Spiral cut.
Yes. On this day in 1452, Leonardo da Vinci was born. A lot of things we use even to this day, we can thank him for.
We can thank him. That was before Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
It was.
About 40 years.
Exactly 40 years.
Yeah. See how I did that math?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
And without a calculator.
Because I would have had to go, 42. Okay.
40 minus 15. Carry the 1.
I hate math. That's why, I'm a musician, and I don't have to count past 4, thank goodness.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start over.
Yes. In 1878, ivory soap was developed by Harley Procter. Air was whipped into the soap during production, which made it float. It was first sold in 1879, and it was a huge success.
I don't like Eversoap. It's harsh. Yeah. It dries my skin out. I don't like that.
It's 99% pure.
It is pure. But it purely does bad things to my skin.
Yeah, I need that moisturizing. All right, so on the 15th in 1912, the British luxury liner Titanic sank at 2:20 a.m.
I was king of the world.
Don't let go, Rose.
Rose.
The ship had struck an iceberg shortly before midnight on April 14th. Also on the 15th in 1912, John Jacob Astor IV died. He was the great-grandson of John Jacob Astor, who founded the family fortune. Number 4 built the Astoria section that would become the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in 1897. in New York, and this is the site now where the Empire State Building was built in 1929.
Cool.
There's a different Astoria, Waldorf Astoria now.
I thought you were going to say John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt when you started.
Well, his name is my name too.
Yes.
He also built the Knickerbocker and the St. Regis hotels. And I said he died. You know how he died?
Mm-mm.
On the Titanic.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
In 1955, the first franchised McDonald's was opened in Des Plaines, Illinois by Ray Kroc, who bought the hamburger restaurant owned by the McDonald brothers.
What a crack.
On opening day, a 2-patty hamburger was 15 cents and fries were 10 cents.
So that would have been the equivalent of their Big Mac.
No,
The two-patty.
the 2-patty would be just like a
double
double burger. The Big Mac didn't show up until 1969.
You knew that off the top of your head.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. You know your food history.
I've talked some food history before.
You have.
On the 16th, it's National Eggs Benedict Day.
Okay, now there's something that I can appreciate.
I like it.
And I've seen it done so many different ways by places here in town.
Yeah.
They've
That's,
done a good job of
that's
reimagining.
You have to reimagine. Golly. You have to reimagine it because, I mean, in and of itself, it can be a little boring. I mean, it's English muffin, piece of ham, an egg over top of it, and hollandaise sauce. And the hollandaise sauce you can get creative with, but you have to make it right, or it's going to be sour, or it's going to be too hot, or it's going to be a lot of things. But
I tell you, one of the best places I've ever had Eggs Benedict was at Elijah's Restaurant in Wilmington, right downtown on the waterfront. They would have a Sunday brunch. I remember having Eggs Benedict, looking out at the river.
Is it right next to the boat that's down there?
It's across the river from the boat.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking maybe we'd eaten there on our first trip together, but
You might have.
I don't think
They have a
that's what it
huge deck.
was.
I mean, you could fit 200-300 people out on this deck.
Okay.
So, yeah, great place. If you're ever in Wilmington, I would highly recommend Elijah's.
On the 16th in 1996, a segment about mad cow disease was aired on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Later, a group of Texas cattle ranchers sued Winfrey for her comments and lost.
You don't go up against Oprah.
The queen of all media. You don't mess with her.
Harpo Media.
Harpo, yeah, which is Oprah backwards.
Yep. I did know that.
All right.
I may not have been able to give you the date that the Big Mac came into existence, but I knew Oprah backwards is Harpo.
On the 17th is Malbec World Day.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's a purple grape used in making red wine.
Okay.
So this is the appreciation for that. And I like a Malbec wine, so that's good.
I don't know that I've ever had a Malbec wine. Maybe I should.
You should.
Maybe I should find a restaurant here in town that serves that.
I can give you a few. It's also Banana Day
Okay.
and National Cheese Ball Day. I like cheese ball.
I like cheese balls, depending on what's in it.
I like port wine cheese ball.
Those are good, yeah.
With all, so usually like red, like they've been bled on or something.
It's got that port in it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Get that heavy tang, but the soft
Bananas
sweetness.
and cheese balls on the same day.
Mm-hmm. I would do it.
Well, I guess if you put them together, it could be a manly day.
It could be.
Might be a little cheesy. Moving right along to what's happening on the 18th.
The 17th, on 1629, the first horses were imported to the American colonies by the Massachusetts Bay Colony Company.
So not to be confused with the horses that are on the Outer Banks.
Well,
Those are different horses.
Well, many years back.
Yeah.
So in 1790, on the 17th, Benjamin Franklin died.
Oh.
He's an American diplomat, a publisher, inventor. Among his inventions were the Franklin stove and bifocal eyeglasses.
Which I'm wearing today.
He also published Poor Richard's Almanac, which is still used today and still quite accurate.
Poor Richard.
Poor Richard.
Poor Benny.
In 1810, Lewis Mills Norton of Goshen, Connecticut was issued the first U.S. patent for pineapple cheese. Now, it's not...
Pineapple cheese?
Yes.
You make cheese. Like, if we think cheese, cheddar, Swiss, Gouda, made out of pineapple?
No.
Okay, what is pineapple cheese?
What it is it's put into a mold.
Okay.
And then dunked and all that to get it wet. Then it's hung out to dry in a net, and the net makes the diamond shapes that look like, and they shape them like pineapples. So they were sold, and they do actually look like pineapples.
But it doesn't actually have any
No,
pineapple
had nothing to do with that.
ingredients.
Because I had to look it up myself because
Just
I'm
looks like it.
I said that sounds disgusting, but I like cheese, so I would probably try it. But this makes more sense. It was pineapple is the international symbol for hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
So that was there. It's also an international symbol for swingers too. But that's
Okay.
and how I know that I can't tell you.
We're
But
not going into that. That's a different podcast.
Yes, it is. On the 17th in 1917, speaking of pineapples, the first Del Monte brand national advertisement appeared in the Saturday Evening Post. On the 18th is National Animal Crackers Day.
Oh, every kid in America has grown up with animal crackers.
Yes.
I still like the chocolate ones better.
I don't know that I've ever had that.
Oh, yes. They make them in chocolate now. And you can get them in, the big containers, like you can get the regular ones. They
Yeah.
also do those in chocolate. And, I am a chocoholic, so if it's chocolate, then I'll take that version. But animal crackers, I like that they're not overly sweet, but you get just a little hint of sweetness.
Well, what are they? Shortbread? Is that
I
what
think
they are?
something like that. Not quite as dense as a shortbread.
Sure.
Maybe a cracker, biscuit. I don't know. You tell me. You are the food expert.
Yeah, they are made with a layered dough-like cracker. They tend to be sweet in flavor, but still technically a cracker and not a cookie. Other animal-shaped crackers and cookies are popular, such as Teddy Grahams, Goldfish, Hello Panda, and Koala's March. I've never heard of the last two.
No, I haven't either. But the other ones are not, like, Goldfish is not an equivalent to an animal cracker.
No.
And Teddy Grahams they're graham crackers. Where animal crackers they're not made the same way. They don't. I just went down a rabbit hole and got lost.
Hey, Ray, come back.
Can I come back out?
Come back this
Hey!
way. Come here.
What else happened on this day in history?
In 1921, Ontario, Canada votes for alcohol prohibition to take effect on July 19th of that year. And I say, boo.
They got over it, though, right?
They did. They certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you wouldn't have Molson and Moosehead and all that other crap if...
Moosehead.
Yeah. In 1968, London Bridge, originally constructed in 1831, was sold to Robert P. McCulloch of McCulloch Oil for $2.46 million.
Was it falling down?
The first one was. The second one was not. And I believe the one that's over there now is the third one. But the granite bridge was taken apart and reconstructed in Lake Havasu, Arizona.
I thought it had actually moved to Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah.
Born in Babylonia, moved to Arizona.
King Tut. The 19th is National Amaretto Day.
Oh, now I can get behind that.
The very
That's good.
first mixed drink that I ever had when I turned 21
was amaretto.
After getting over the flu for my 21st birthday was an amaretto sour.
Nice.
And it still holds a special place in my heart today, even though most people are horrible at making them.
Right. I think mine was a peach. It was a fuzzy navel.
Okay. I remember one time at my house, I was watching football, and I was the only one in my house. This is before Stephanie and I got together. And I had peach schnapps and orange juice and a lot of ice, and I was just making them one after the other, 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 to the point that I couldn't even talk. And I mean, these are fruity, low gravity drinks generally, but when you make them at home, you just pour.
Yeah.
I'm out of orange juice.
Just keep
Peach
pouring
schnapps. And I remember it was I don't remember the year, but it was the year that the Steelers played the Colts in the playoffs, and so that would have been 2005, because they went on to win the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. But they were playing Indianapolis. At Indianapolis, Jerome Bettis fumbled the ball on the goal line, and the guy picked it up, and he was running down there, and then they were called something else, and I was screaming at the TV at the top of my lungs about what the referee's mother was doing in hell, and needless to say, after that game was over, I fell asleep. But yeah, fuzzy navels are no joke. They might be a low gravity drink to start off with, but when
enough
you
of
make
them?
Oh yeah, well, enough of anything was going to mess me up. But
Yeah, but I have learned schnapps is not. I don't care what flavor. Schnapp is not what you want to get schnockered on,
no,
because that's. I know you've never had a hangover.
I've never had a hangover.
The rest of us that have had them, no, schnapps hangovers are no joke. They just pound.
Well, because all the sugar.
Yeah.
Because schnapps are very sugary.
Yeah. Well, then you're pairing that with the orange juice. It's sugar on sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very tasty. They go down very easy.
So you're getting a sugar buzz and an alcohol high all at the same time.
And then you crash and hit the
Hard.
wall
Yeah.
and then fall down.
Yeah, and can't talk. Your mother's so socks that smell. Okay, so the 19th is also Garlic Day.
I just went back to The Exorcist.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's where it came from.
That's
yes.
where it came from, but it was a Saturday Night Live skit that instead of your mother, as
Yeah.
he said,
Down there.
they said your mother sews socks that smell. I was not saying that.
No, you were saying
was
something
the
else.
what it originally
You were
was.
quoting the movie.
Yeah.
Not
so
SNL.
the 19th, National Amaretto Day. It's also Garlic Day.
Oh. Now, there's one that I use like almost every day.
Yep. Absolutely.
Love me some garlic.
And I've had these and didn't realize what it was, but it's National Rice Ball Day.
Okay.
Arancini is rice balls, and I actually went and looked this up, and now I have saved the recipe. Basically, you can use like any leftover rice for this, or you can make rice for it too. But
Just plain white rice.
well, it needs to be.
Cooked?
Well, not that, but it needs to be wet.
Okay.
Like sushi rice would be
Right.
best, but that's not always available to everybody, and that's a little more expensive. But Uncle Ben's, anything, but just make sure that it's wet, and then put some Parmesan in there, a little bit of mozzarella, Italian style breadcrumbs, and an egg, and just mix all that up. Take it out, roll it in egg mixture, and then roll it through more breadcrumbs, and then deep fry it. And then make some marinara sauce, and so it's basically a cheese rice ball that you dip into.
Okay.
So arancini, I have had at a couple of Italian restaurants. So
Does Delicios offer that?
I don't know. I'll have to.
You don't
look
remember
that up.
eating that then?
I don't remember having it there. I've had it other places. On the 19th of 1995, the Supreme Court ruled that alcohol content should be listed on beer labels, overturning a 1935 law which had prohibited it. I don't know why that happened, but I think that it's a very good idea.
I like to know what the content is. So, depending on the evening, I may look for something with a higher or lower content.
Right. And I prefer beers that have a higher content, not because I don't care about the getting drunk part, but I like the taste of booze. So if a beer is boozier in flavor, then I like, because it usually just rounds off the other flavors in the beer. It's not about being a sot or an alcoholic. It's just that I actually enjoy the taste of alcohol.
Well, I like the darker beers myself. And those tend to be a higher alcohol content.
So go for an imperial stout.
Yeah.
And you're looking at 12 10 to 12% alcohol and tell me you don't like that flavor.
Oh, I love that flavor. And yes, it is stout.
Yes.
So, 1, maybe 2, and okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Or 5 for me. You never know. 420.
If I'm home.
If you're home, yeah. 420 or Uber. 420. We'll just leave that at that. Yeah. It's Puff Puff Pass Day. Not necessarily, yeah. It's good shit, man. But,
man, hold on.
Oh,
that was good.
Reminds me of Ozzy or the
I
Black.
can't talk because I've been coughing so much, but that was great.
Yeah, pass the munchy stuff. Give me some Cheetos.
Yeah, I need Cheetos. You got some guac? Get a beer.
You know, I act like I know a lot about this, but I've never once had pot, so I don't know what to, I'm just going by the stereotypes.
It's fun just watching people.
Oh, I have watched several people afterwards, because even now, I'm 48 years old, I've maybe seen 5 joints my entire life. But I'm very cool with other people doing it, just not cool with me doing it.
Right. Well, if we
I'm for the legalization of it. I am for all that. Just, I don't want any.
Now, if you lived in Colorado or California or Washington State,
yeah.
and are illegal, would you?
I was on vacation in Amsterdam.
And you didn't do it in
And I
Amsterdam.
didn't.
Well, if you're not going to do it there.
Yeah. And that's the real shit.
I still remember, now this goes back 30-something years, back when I was in college. A friend of mine made a huge batch of pot brownies for a party she was going to have.
Yeah.
And her mom came over and was going to help her clean up. And so she had these things sitting out. And her mom wanted one. She's like, no, Mom, those are for the party. You don't need to eat any of those. Those are for the party. Leave them alone.
Her mom snuck one, didn't she?
Her mom snuck a couple.
Well, I guess once you have one, you had to have
And
more.
then the munchies, now she wants another. And she's like, these are the best brownies. Oh, I don't know that I've ever had brownies that made me feel so good.
Well, the good thing about pot brownies, edibles, is generally you get your munchie taken care of while you're doing,
eating.
while you're imbibing or whatever you do with ingesting them.
I understand that it's a longer time frame when you ingest it as opposed to smoking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a hard time getting her mom out of the house in time for the party. And it's one of those where you kind of have to have known her mom. Picture, a 40 to 50-year-old woman who's very straight-laced, always had the sweater that was buttoned all the way up to the neck.
Yeah.
That was her mom. So to picture her eating these brownies was just hilarious. Anyway.
Far out.
So what was happening on 420?
420 is National Pineapple Upside Down Cake Day.
Okay, now I like pineapple upside down. I didn't know that it would have needed a whole day to promote it, but okay. I mean, is there a company that makes pineapple upside down cakes that would lobby for such a day, that would say, we've got to have a day?
Maybe Del Monte or Dole.
Could have been. Now that would make sense.
Betty Crocker, or
Yeah, okay.
Hunkin' Dines.
Dunkin' Dines. I like that.
Hunkin'
Hunkin' Dines.
Now, those are the tame ones, and here's the stupid ones. It's National Lima Bean Respect Day.
No. Lima Bean Respect Day.
Yeah.
No, I am not going to respect a lima bean.
And it's also International Raw Milk Cheese Appreciation Day.
Raw milk cheese appreciation.
An international celebration of raw milk cheese and the individuals who bring it to life from the pasture to the plate. This is brought on by the Old Ways, that's one word, Old Ways Cheese Coalition.
I've never knowingly had raw milk cheese. I'm curious. I mean, you are the cheese expert in the room. Have you ever had raw milk cheese?
I have not.
You ever
That I
heard-
know of.
Have you ever heard of it?
I have.
Okay. At least it's a thing we've heard of.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as the people who will drink milk straight from the cow without the pasteurization process.
yes.
And I don't want to do that.
I have. We used to live on a farm when I was a little kid. But generally when we would bring the milk in, it got pasteurized. We'd
Yeah.
separate the milk and the cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it'd be fine. Lima Bean Respect Day. What the hell?
I don't know. I have no respect for the lima beans on this day,
I've
just
never
out of
liked
principle.
lima beans. I've never had lima beans in a way that I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Ever. So no. I have to reject that.
I'm pretty
day.
sure my wife would be in agreement with you there. However, how about the Giantes at Yamas? So we had to get Yamas in there. Yamas, but those Giantes, those huge, those are just giant
I haven't
Lima
had those
beans.
yet.
lima beans, not llama beans.
We'll call them Yamas beans.
But Stephanie hates lima beans, but she had those and she liked them.
Well, so there's the respect.
There's
Begrudgingly.
Chianti Respect Day, not lima beans.
Yeah. Ugh. And why would you call it respect?
Maybe it does. It's just the Rodney Dangerfield of.
No respect. I get no respect.
Last time I see a mouth like that, I had a hook in it. But last time I saw a hat like that, you got a $2 bowl of soap with it. But no respect. On 420 in 2010, an explosion and fire destroyed the Deepwater Horizon oil rig 40 miles off the Louisiana coast in the Gulf of Mexico, killing 11 people. The subsequent oil spill, over 200 million gallons, was the largest marine oil spill and environmental disaster in U.S. history.
And how does that affect our food? Yeah, well, they couldn't eat anything from the sea for a while.
Right. It was many, many years.
Oh,
but
that
many-
whole Gulf Coast just got devastated. Their fishing industry was grinding to a halt.
But as opposed to Exxon with the Valdez, BP actually went the extra mile because this was an explosion. This wasn't negligence.
Right.
So they went and they
did everything they could.
They put a lot of money into it. Is it exactly the way it was? No, but it's a lot better, and you can eat that stuff now.
Right.
And the animals aren't dying.
Where the Valdez would, I think I told you, I'm still to this day boycotting Exxon over the Valdez.
Yeah. Also on this coming 420, this Saturday, is the first home game of the Carolina Cobras.
Carolina Cobras.
And I am
I can't say it like you do.
the voice of the Carolina Cobras.
So if you want to see Tim in action,
Or hear him.
well, I mean, if they look around, they might be able to spot you.
Yeah, I'll wave at you through the window. If you wave at me, I'll wave back. So that's Saturday. And they won this weekend.
Did they?
They won the
Awesome.
first game of the season. They were in Massachusetts, and they play Massachusetts this week. So
Nice.
back-to-back games against them. 421 is Easter Sunday. It's a big day for you.
It is going to be a very busy day for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of preaching, man.
It is a lot of preaching.
Well,
But-
at least, but the good thing is here, your sermon's pretty much already written.
Mostly, yeah. Well, and we have a 6:30, and then a 10:30, and at 8:30, the church where I'm serving now, Loves United Methodist up in Walkertown, is doing a breakfast, and it's the men that are making the breakfast. I've already been to one of the men's groups' breakfast. Oh my. Oh my. I'm going to gain 30 pounds while I'm working with these folks. The food is good. You know, it's all, I mean, just home, but it's like there'll be chicken and bacon and country ham and sausage and eggs and grit and biscuits and sausage gravy and a food coma immediately after breakfast. And you won't need to eat again until the next day.
Well, good luck with that.
Well, thank you. And let's just also point out that by the time we get to, what is it, Friday? I think it's Friday, that Humblebee will be back open. We'll get Brittany back from Italy. And so that'll be a big deal to do this weekend, too.
Yeah, it's Good Friday.
Yeah.
Or when she's back, it's Great Friday.
Be awesome Friday.
Okay, so it's Good Friday and Easter Sunday. What's Saturday?
I don't think Saturday is a day. It's not a religious date. Some places do things on Saturday, but Friday would have been, and not to get too deep into it, but for the Christian faith, Friday would have been when Jesus died, and then on Sunday is when he came back.
According to timeanddate.com, it's called Holy Saturday. Commemorates the day that Jesus Christ lay in the tomb after his death, according to the Christian Bible. It is the day after Good Friday and the day before Easter Sunday. It's also known as Easter Eve, Easter Even, Black Saturday, or the Saturday before Easter. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
That's the one I would have. Hey, it's the Saturday before Easter.
Yeah.
And that means it's the Saturday before Easter.
Somebody asks here, this is completely off topic, and you know how I
We
am
do
about
that.
religious things, but I do find a lot of this interesting. This is from 2012 in April. What did Jesus do between Good Friday and Easter? Every Christian knows the story. Jesus is crucified on Good Friday. He was actually crucified before Friday, though, wasn't he? He didn't die immediately. It took him a little bit, right?
Once, I mean, obviously he died while on the cross.
Oh, yeah. But he didn't get thrown up on Friday and die on Friday, did he?
Yeah.
Did he? I thought he was like
on-
up on Thursday and then died Friday.
Maybe.
I mean, because that's... I understand he was bleeding a lot, plus they gouged him in the side and, you know, to make sure he was gone. And
Right.
But I thought it was a little longer than that. But
Well,
you know,
typically-
I don't know.
Death by crucifixion is actually you suffocate. The way your arms are spread and you're having to hold yourself up on with a single nail through your feet.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he was crucified differently. The other guys were just tied up there.
mm,
He was actually, right? Am I right? Am I wrong?
As
I
far-
thought they were only tied, and this was to
you know, I
to
don't-
bring home,
I
to
have
nail
not
the
heard
point,
that.
to, for lack of a better phrase, they had nailed him. I thought that was what it was.
I had not heard that, but I wouldn't dispute that.
Now, who
That
was it
was-
that was crucified upside down? Was that Peter?
I believe it was Peter, said he didn't want to be crucified the same way, didn't want to die the same way his Lord had died. So they did him upside down.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm not ignorant to the
I know you're
religious
not.
stuff. I just, yes, I'm glad that you are taking care of that for me.
There you go.
On the 21st, it's also National Chocolate Covered Cashews Day.
I love it. There, of all the ones we've talked about so far, that would be my favorite. Cashews are probably my favorite nut anyway.
Yeah.
Right up
Mine-
there with peanuts and almonds and walnuts and pecans. And, yeah, I like nuts.
Now, I love cashews. They are my favorite nut-like thing, but let's not forget that they're not actually nuts.
Cashews are not nuts.
They're legumes. They're
Oh.
beans, actually.
Well, then that's my favorite bean. Without question, my favorite bean.
Yeah, I just love the way they taste, and they're poisonous. So the way that they're
Cashews are poisonous?
not the what we eat, but the shells.
Uh-huh.
If they're not shucked or husked correctly, we could die from them.
Wow.
That's why they have to have licensed people to shell them.
I did not know that. Wow. And here, I just thought they were just awesome. Did not
Well,
realize.
they are just awesome, but there's also
That also
dark
explains
side.
why they're softer than most of what I think of as nuts.
Yeah,
Because
You
they're
don't-
not
you
a
don't-
nut, they're a bean.
Yeah, you don't usually crunch into cashews. You
No.
just bite through them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not like an almond or a peanut
Right.
or a pecan or a walnut or any of my other favorite ones.
Sure. 1959, 21st, Alfred Dean caught a record 2,664 pound great white shark with a rod and reel off Seduna, Australia. A 1 ton plus great white shark with a rod and reel.
Wow. That's impressive. I was like, okay, what was the rod made out of?
I don't know.
What is he fishing with? Steel cable? I mean, you think about it. If you're pulling, I mean, that much, it's what, 1.25 tons. How? How? Unless it was really sick and just not fighting. Because, I mean, things in the water don't weigh. what they do outside of the
And
water.
how big was the damn hook?
I mean,
I'm sure this was not a Zebco rod and reel. All of us, our first rod and reel, unless our dads were
Yep.
Bassmasters,
We had the Zebco.
Zebcos. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
we
pretty
had the
sure that's
Zebco.
not what it was. But
Wow, that's
even
impressive.
above all that, how big was that hook?
Yeah. I mean, it had to be a huge hook, and to think that the shark wouldn't bite through it. Wow. Impressive. I remember I was fishing off my grandfather's dock down in Florida years and years ago. I was a little kid. Had just, a little bamboo pole and throw it out. And I got something on the end of that hook, and I'm reeling this thing in. I'm thinking, I've got something that weighs 40, 50 pounds. Had to. The fight it was putting up. I'd never had anything fight me like this. Watching that line just go willy-nilly off in every direction while I'm trying to bring it into the dock. When I finally landed it, it was a stingray of about a 1 foot wingspan.
You'd be surprised, because even in our pond at my house, when we built it in 1999, I think it was around 99, we stocked the pond with bluegills
Mm-hmm.
and bass.
Pretty typical for this area.
Yeah. And for the next 10 years or so, we had family fishing tournaments on Memorial Day weekend. So
Nice.
West Virginia folk come down and we just have it. And it would be like $5 in, and whoever had the biggest pound bass at the end would
You'd win.
win the pot.
And all the fish go right back into the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're sitting there and watching these things, and these are people who spend money on their fishing equipment.
Yeah.
And just these little, pound and a half bass. Their rods they look like fishing hooks themselves. Look like something you would take somebody off a stage with if they went on too long.
Yes.
But it was crazy, and I hate fishing, so I would go over there and I would be a judge. So we'd put them on the spring
On the scale.
spring scale, and I'm like, all right, 1.5 pounds, and it nearly broke the rod. So okay. Well, anyway, that's our food holidays and history for this week. Thank you, James Ehler, for
Thanks,
making us
James.
laugh and roll our eyes and wonder what the hell
Lima bean.
the Lima
respect.
Bean Respect Day means and why we need it.
That may be the new best worst.
The one that makes us things that make you go,
Yeah, that would be one.
Just one of them, but it's probably the top one right now.
Yeah.
The Man Who Went to Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, and Apartment 5B.
And you should.
And you should. And you can find all of these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory tldpodnetwork.com. If you have any questions about that, please send us information or your information, and we'll make sure you find out how to listen to these podcasts.
Absolutely.
If you're listening to this podcast, if you go to even the site that this podcast is on, there's a page for the network, and you can get to it that way. We would love for you to visit our sponsors. Like Ray said, that Brittany won't be back until about Friday, so
Yep.
we'll talk about her first anyway. She's at 1003 Brookstown Avenue. Actually, she's right now in Rome or in Italy, but she'll be back. Go ahead and talk to her about her trip.
If you haven't checked out the comments and pictures that she's been posting while she's in Italy, man, you should. You really should.
Yeah. If you can find her, because I'm not going to give it out, but if you can find her personal Instagram, that's awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the Humblebee shop, all that stuff is really cool.
SHOPPE.com.
That's right. They want to challenge your perception and scratch made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. Absolutely. Washington Perkin Provision Company's 301 West 4th Street. I drove by there this morning on the way back from the post office because it is tax day. And they actually have a big sign up on it's a classy, long, horizontal sign, like a throwback kind of sign that says Washington Perk and Provision.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
When I drove through there this morning, they were repairing the sidewalks. So, yay, downtown is getting the sidewalks fixed all around Washington Park.
Good. They have a chip wall, eggs, milk, and cheese from Homeland Creamery, Ashe County Cheese, Wolfie's Custard, a beer and wine wall, condiments, toiletries, deli to make affordable and delicious sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches in the morning. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, but not quite a grocery store. Again, they are 301 West 4th Street in downtown Winston-Salem. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk, and on Instagram, they are Washington Perk _DTWS. And Delicios Italian Restaurant, 301 Brookstown Avenue. The Delicios is the go-to Italian in town.
And they will not make you respect lima beans.
No, I mean, he might slip some in, but he doesn't care if you respect them as long as you pay for them. Tony carefully prepares dishes from his native Napoli, probably not far from where Brittany's spending some time. Hearty and delicious, or delicate dishes that whisk you away to the eateries of southern Italy. They have beer, wine, and now spirits, and they have fun making cool little craft cocktails for you. They're working on the drink menu, but I hear it's going fantastic.
Good.
They are open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Check them out on Instagram and on Facebook. Keep an eye on this blog, or my blog, and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email.
Please.
Tim@themanwhoatetown.com or Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. If you have someone who has a restaurant that you think needs, or any food stuff, it doesn't have to be a restaurant, food truck, if it's a food service, caterers, anything like that, that you feel that needs a little push in the community, absolutely get in touch with us. Even if you get in touch with us on their behalf, just put us in contact with them. We'll work something out.
We'd love to have them on.
Absolutely. On Facebook, we are The Man Who Ate the Town. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. And on Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. My name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.